All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're talking about something that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it's actually happening right now.
So think about this for a second. What if an AI could actually improve itself? I'm not talking about some developer pushing an update. I mean learning and evolving, all on its own after we've built it. That's the really wild idea we're digging into. For as long as we've had the idea of intelligent machines, we've been thinking about how to control them. I mean, think about Isaac Asimov and his famous 3 laws of robotics, right? It was always about giving them a fixed, unchangeable set of rules to follow. But here's the twist. The big question in AI research right now is, what if the machines could rewrite their own rules? I mean, really think about that. We're talking about a massive shift from a static rule book that never changes to a living, breathing system that learns and adapts on the fly.
Okay, so to really get why this is such a game changer, we have to talk about the problem it's trying to solve. And that's something researchers call the static agent problem. Basically, it's about why today's AI, as powerful as it is kind of frozen in time. See, here's the deal. Most of the AI agents we interact with every day, even the super impressive ones, well, they're static. They get trained on this huge pile of data, and then they're basically done. Once they're out in the real world, they can't learn from their experiences. They don't get smarter from their mistakes or their successes. They're just stuck with what they were given at launch.
Let's put it this way. A static agent, which is most of what we have today, is like a cook who has a recipe book and only that recipe book. If you give them a new ingredient, they're lost. They can't adopt. Someone has to manually write a new recipe for them. But an evolving agent, that's more like a creative chef. They taste, they get feedback, they experiment. They don't just follow recipes, they invent new ones based on every single thing they learn. It's a constant, automatic process of getting better.
And that is exactly what this new paradigm is all about. It's a whole new way of thinking, and it has a name: self-evolving AI agents.
Okay, I know the official definition can sound a little academic, but the core idea is actually pretty straightforward. We're talking about building systems that are designed from the very beginning to constantly fine-tune themselves. Every time they interact with the world, they're looking for ways to get better, to adapt to new challenges. And this isn't just about memorizing new facts. It's about actually upgrading their own internal software, so to speak.
Now, I know what you're probably thinking. An AI that can rewrite its own code? That sounds a little scary, right? How do you keep it on the rails? How do you make sure it evolves in a good way? Well, researchers are thinking about that too, and they've come up with a set of really important guiding principles. And believe it or not, they actually took a page out of Asimov's book. They've proposed a new set of laws for these AIs. But the really crucial word here is hierarchy. These aren't just 3 suggestions on a to-do list. They are a strict, prioritized set of rules to make absolutely sure that this evolution happens safely and responsibly.
So let's walk through them. First and foremost, the top priority is law number 1, indoor. This is the safety law. It basically says, do no harm to yourself. Whatever change the AI makes, it absolutely cannot compromise its own safety or stability, period. Only if that's guaranteed can it even think about law number 2, which is excel. This law says, okay, now try to get better, or at the very least, don't get any worse at your job. And then, and only then, after safety and performance are checked off, does it get to law number 3, evolve. This is where it gets to actually optimize itself. You see how it works? Safety is the absolute non-negotiable foundation.
All right, so we get the what and the why now, but the big question is how? How does an AI actually evolve itself? What's the mechanism that takes us from these static models to something that learns for its entire lifetime?
Well, it's been a journey, really, in 4 main steps. First, we had what you could call offline training. AI models just learned from a big static data set, and that was it. Then we got to the online stage, where we could give them feedback and fine-tune them a bit after they were out in the world. After that, things got even more interesting, with multiple AIs working together, kind of debating and collaborating. But this final stage? This is the real leap. This is where the agents learn directly from the raw signals of their environment, without a human holding their hand, and use that to constantly, and I mean constantly, improve.
And the way it all works is through a really simple but powerful loop. Interact, get feedback, and then refine. That's it. The agent does something, sees how well it worked, and then uses that information to tweak itself. I love the analogy of a self-tuning engine. With every single mile it drives, it gets just a little bit better, a little more efficient.
But what does it actually mean to refine itself? Self-improvement can sound kind of vague. So what specifically is the AI changing about itself in this loop?
Turns out there are 4 main areas it can work on. The first is its prompts. The agent can literally learn to write better instructions for itself to get better answers. How cool is that? Second is memory. It can figure out smarter ways to store and recall information, so it's faster and more on point. Third is tools. It can learn to use things like a search engine or a calculator more effectively, and maybe even create brand new tools it needs. And finally, there's behaviors. This is the big one. It can actually improve its fundamental ability to reason and plan.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second. This is all fascinating tech, but why does it really matter to us? What's the big deal about shifting from static to adaptive AI?
This right here is probably the single most important thing to take away from all this. We really need to stop thinking of AI as just a tool, like a hammer. It's not static anymore. It's becoming a dynamic partner. Imagine an AI that learns your specific preferences, or one that understands the unique challenges of your work, or one that evolves right alongside a scientist to help crack a problem we've never been able to solve. We're moving from using a tool to co-evolving with a system.
And that leaves us with a pretty mind-bending question, doesn't it? As these agents are out there in the world, learning from every single interaction, every second of every day, what do they become? What does that future look like? It really forces you to think about what intelligence even is. I'm curious, what do you think the biggest impact will be? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and hey, let us know what you want us to explain next time. Thanks for joining me.